Joe Zekas from YoChicago.com. I'm at Chicago Apartments and Condos with Tim Brent, who's a apartment rental service. And full disclosure, an old friend and former client of mine.
You know, I think what makes us different from other people is the person that runs the ad, the person that you call, is the person that you talk to show the apartment. We're not going to have you just come sit in our lobby for an hour and a half waiting on some random person. The person that you're going to meet with is going to be the person that you've talked to about the appointment. So when we get you to the apartment, we're not going to waste your time, because in the process of doing that, we would also be wasting our own time.
Well, let me isolate a takeaway there if I can.
Sure.
Know who you're going to be dealing with before you get to the rental service office.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, the person that you're going to meet with at a building, or the person that you're going to see for an appointment, is going to be someone that already has spoken with you, knows what you're looking for, and pretty much decided that from what you've told us you want, they think we might have.
And they will have set up appointments in advance before you come in the office? Would that be the case frequently?
It's not the case frequently, it's the case all the time.
With you?
With me. And the reason why is probably 90% of everything we deal with is occupied. And when it's occupied, it means that you've got a current tenant there. And when you have a current tenant there, you need to warn them that you're coming. You need to, number one, not warn them that you're coming, that's the wrong word probably, is to make arrangements to let them know that you're coming. Some people might have a dog, some people may work night. They may work nights where they need to sleep in, and you don't want to show up before 3 o'clock or something like that.
This is an industry that's rife with unlicensed people.
Yeah.
Not here.
No, I was going to say not. Not here. Yes.
But you're aware that it's common in the industry.
Yes, I am.
And the young person, perhaps a young girl, straight out of college,
right?
She's getting in a car and going to vacant apartments with somebody who may have a criminal record.
Yes.
Your licensed agents will have a state-issued pocket card.
Yes, which they'll carry on them because it's required by law. That's not a problem.
And somebody who's in the 120-day pre-licensing period,
they'll have the paperwork they'll have the correct paperwork that they need.
They'll have something what you submitted to the state
that states what they've already. Yes, their permit in a sense. Yes.
So I would tell somebody, ask to see either the state pocket card or the state licensing information that was submitted by the rental service. Verify that person either is licensed or within the 120-day period.
Fair enough.
Because
some of them may still be working.
Some of them work for
the year or two after that.
Some of them work for years while they're exhausted.
Yes,
their
it's true.
120-day period.
Yes.
I would suggest to people, because I've heard stories about 20 copies of a pocket card being passed around the office.
Really?
Really?
Haven't heard that one. That's new to me.
I hear it frequently from traditional brokers who have agents showing up with somebody else's pocket card.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would ask to see their driver's license to verify that that name and face.
That name is the same.
Is that a fair request?
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't be insulted if someone felt like that. I mean, I don't know how that half lives, or that group of people lives.
Let me share another of the common concerns that I hear and see, and that involves putting up money for fees and for deposits and writing that first month's rent check.
Right. And
I hear frequently that people put up that check and then they learn afterwards that the apartment has already been rented to somebody else.
Right.
And they have trouble getting their money back. March me through when people should write a check.
Sure.
What should be in place before they actually write a check, and how should this all go down?
Okay. Well, our process is, and again, it's dictated, we work for the landlord, so it's dictated by the landlords, and some landlords will do things differently. But with our company, when you have a place that you found that we've showed you that you like, you write a processing fee, which would run your credit, check your employment, check your landlords, make sure okay. And you write a separate check that is your first month's rent. Now, we do it with 2 separate checks. And again, getting back to the fact, we're a real estate company. And in a sense, that first month's rent check is part of an offer. And until that offer is accepted, that check is not deposited. And that's the way our company does it. And again, we're based more on a real estate concept. So someone comes in, they would put down the application fee, they put down the first month's rent. When they're accepted, we call them up and say, you've been accepted for your apartment. We are going to deposit your first month's rent check now.
Would you present them with a lease to sign at that point, or?
The lease would come probably within 2 to 10 days after that. 2 to 10 days. Because then you've got to prepare the lease, get it to them. They've got to have a time to come in. We would email them the lease so they can review it before they come in to sign it. A lot of times they sign it here, or they'll sign it at the new landlord's place. But usually, and it's a two-edged sword, because here's what we find is that if someone just gives you, no one minds wasting $40 for a processing fee, in a sense. If they give you a processing fee without the first month's rent, they may or may not quit looking now. So we've actually held an apartment. We've told the landlord we have this place rented. The landlord has quit showing it. The other agents in our office have quit showing it. And so for the 1 to 2 days it takes us to get it approved, that apartment is not going to be shown with our company and with the landlords that we work with.
If you can't be sure that other companies are not showing it in many cases.
That's true, but what we'll do while the people are still here is we'll call the landlord to confirm that it's not available, because our point would be that if we call the landlord and the landlord says, hey, I took an application on that last night, right now is the time to tell the person that's trying to rent that place it's not available. They might have a second choice with us that we could move them to, or what's the point? I mean, we wouldn't even take the processing at that point. We would give them we've not taken any checks with them. So there's no use. There's no use in and again, it comes back to having agents that immediately we call the landlord, immediately let them know we have an application. Because if we're going to have problems, we want to have them as soon as we can. And I think that's fair to us, and it's fair to the person renting the apartment.
Let me see if I can boil that down to a piece of advice that somebody can walk away with. Do not write a check for your first month's rent or a security deposit until you have confirmed acceptance on the lease.
Not a confirmed acceptance on the lease. Well, we take it. If you come here and you do an application, we take the processing fee, the application, and a separate check for the first month's rent.
Okay, but you tell the tenant you're going to hold it.
Yes, we tell them we're going to hold it until they're accepted. When they are accepted is when that earnest money becomes the first month's rent. Okay, so you don't deposit it beforehand, because then this gets back to the case is, let's say we deposit that money and then that person gets rejected or that apartment is already rented. Now we have to wait for that check to clear before we can cut them, because we know the check we're going to give them is good. We don't know if the check that they gave us is good. So to us, it's a nightmare to have to figure all that out. So it's easier to say you're accepted, you're rejected, the place was already rented. That your check we've written void on the front of your check and it's at the front of our office waiting for you to pick it up. Or you've been accepted, we're depositing your money, we appreciate your business.
Who should that check be made out to, that first month's rent check?
A majority of the times it's made out to us, our real estate company, Chicago Apartments and Condos.
Because that represents your commission, typically.
It's part of our commission. A lot of the times you're assuming that everything we do is 100% all of the time, and it's not. Right. We have several landlords.
That's what I said, typically.
Typically, yeah. Typically, absolutely, it is our commission. But in a sense, and I like it like that. That way we can cut the landlord back his check or whatever.
You've been here a long time.
Hi, Tatum.
Give me a minute. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Ask the question again. I got off track.
She's pretty good. She's pretty good. Who would the check typically be made out to?
Depending on what the management company tells us. A lot of times it's made out to us. does represent our commission. In a number of instances, though, it could be made out to that company, and then once that company gets everything done, they give us a check back. But we hold and possess that check until the application is accepted or rejected, simply because the customer's given it to us and we're responsible for it. So, but yes, it does. I mean, the reason we're here, the reason we work, is to successfully find someone an apartment that they're wanting, and to find them a landlord that they'll like. So absolutely, it's a commission.
If something falls out for some reason, you've cashed the tenant's check, how long should it take the tenant to get their money back?
As soon as we know it's cleared. I mean, in these days with the internet and everything else, usually a couple of days at the most. You know, if it's a check that once I know the check is good, then I'd write it, and probably depending on the instance.
How do you verify that the check is good? Do you do that through your bank, or do you ask the tenant to prove it through their bank?
I don't know the last time it's happened.
Okay.
I mean, we're very. I mean, we obviously, we've had people that have been rejected, and we've had people that have done, but I don't think in the last year I've done a refund. Yeah. I think maybe I did one like last December, where someone got accepted and then decided a week later they didn't want the place, and the landlord decided that if they didn't want the place, he didn't want them, and he told me to give them the money back, so I did.
Wow.
I want to say that was last December.
That's pretty unusual for the landlord to do that.
Well, why would he, if they don't want to live there, why would he force them to be there? That's just problems. That's just. So I would say after that, I don't know when the last time I've written a refund check, because we're careful not to deposit that check until we know things are right. Yeah. But if it happened, I mean, our bank is Chase. If it happened at Chase, I could tell them immediately. I could give them their money back.